This conference will now be recorded.
Absent a realistic TDR program where they're receiving property that is targeted for most of your affordable housing, absent a realistic credit allocation, those affordable units never get built. And I think that we can help you with that. And so, as I said to the planning board, both the day of the first hearing and this past Tuesday, my client wants to be your partner in this. My partner wants to help you reach both a realistic, which is the key, and achievable, which is the second key, affordable housing. We have asked the planning board to communicate with you, and now I'm here to do it myself. And Dominic, and I appreciate the time we had today to talk about this. I really do want to encourage you to invite us to a subcommittee meeting because I think we can be helpful. The property owner whose property is the piece should be part of these discussions if you want it to be successful and achievable. So you only have 60 plus days to do this. You're running out of time till the end of August. And as I say, we would much rather be your partner than something else. And so I look forward to, not next week, but perhaps the week after, getting together with your subcommittee and putting together the means by which the plan that's in front of you can actually be implemented and become, as I say, both achievable and successful and realistic affordable housing plan. All right. So look forward to hearing from you, as does my client. Thank you.
Dominic, just to, since uh, John has already spoken to you, I'm assuming you've already spoken to Leah as well, and Leah is aware of this discussion.
Yes, I've already sent, not to you yet, Mayor, but I did send to some of the, to Leah, to our engineer, to Glenn. I'm starting to get availability to have this meeting that John's referencing, that he would like with his client. And I don't have any objection to having that meeting. I told John that, and I'll tell that in the public. I have no objection.
That sounds like something maybe we should discuss first as a body, as a governing body.
Sure.
And I'm not objecting to it, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm not totally prepared to hear anyone kind of accept it or advocate for it just yet.
Sure.
I
But we
agree,
do
but
have to meet with them either way, whatever we do in terms of that list. But we do have to meet with them because there's changes in that part for the Leadco property in the zoning.
Mm.
And then it says in the body of the report, you probably saw that we are going to negotiate the details of this. So that part of it has
It's
to be
important,
done.
yeah.
No, I
Whether or not
understand.
whatever we pick from that list or whatever we look at first from that list, but we do have to negotiate with them sooner rather than later about the planning changes that are being.
And I'm not against any of
Yeah.
that. I just think it's premature for recommendations from council before we've had a chance to discuss it as a body.
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah,
If
yeah.
we would
I'm
like
not saying
to hear from our
recommendations,
planner
but to
too.
look at what both sides are,
Yeah.
you know, and also it's a matter of looking into all of the finances of it and how does it work and all of that, which was explained to us as the planning board on both meetings that all of that hadn't been done because of the tight deadlines that that the state gave,
Right.
that there was no time to do. Correct, Dominic? I mean,
Yeah.
explain it
Almost
better
all
than I, but
municipalities have been faced
Everyone.
with this issue.
Yeah, and I would certainly
Yes.
want to review this for our township planner too. So I'm almost feeling that rather than the subcommittee meeting, we might have to do a special meeting or something like that. But let's talk about it separately and
Okay.
take a decision there. Thank you. Anybody else? Please.
Yes.
Yes.
You can make any comment, whether it's on any item in the resolution or otherwise.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Michael Wright. I live at 31 Wallen Road. That's directly opposite the Margin Road project. And part of the reason I'm here is I received an anonymous flyer in my mailbox opposing the project, and I want to express my support for the project. I want to see it go ahead. I'm a professional engineer. I have over 40 years of experience. I'm now retired. Before retiring, I worked on a lot of transportation projects. I think I know what I'm talking about. I think the project that was originally designed is appropriate with 11-foot lanes and 3-foot shoulders with no curbs. It's not unusual for a road of this type, particularly based on what's in the rural nature of this area of the township. The normal lanes are 12 feet with 10-foot shoulders on most roads, and I think reducing them to 11 feet with 3-foot shoulders is appropriate. It can be accommodated here. The shoulders, I think, are necessary for the walkers, joggers, and anybody need to pull off to the side of the road to avoid a larger coming down the roadway. There's a lot of farm vehicles that use this road. I don't even have a pickup truck, but I see a lot of vehicles, and some of them are wider than 12 feet. But but with the shoulder and some courtesy from oncoming drivers, they should have no problem using the roadway. I think the project is absolutely necessary. The road is in pretty bad shape. There's a lot of potholes, and we've been patching it with cold patch in the wintertime, and it's just not holding up. Evidence that the road is on the narrow side is you can see vehicles go off the roadway because there's no curb to avoid vehicles coming in the opposite direction. And, the road's deteriorating, and the longer we put it off, the more expensive it's going to be to resurface the roadway and rebuild what needs to be rebuilt. And this is the appropriate time to widen the roadway. And widening it to, I believe it's 28 feet it adds up to. That's a very small amount of widening. It's not going to destroy the rural character of the township or the street. So I would hope that the council will move forward with the project with the original design, hopefully, but if not, we need the road resurfaced and widened to a reasonable width, whatever your professionals recommend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, is there anybody online? Okay. Can I have a motion to close public comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do not have any ordinances for introduction today, but we do have ordinance for public hearing and adoption. So ordinance 2025-8, an ordinance of the Township of Chesterfield in the County of Burlington, New Jersey, providing for capital equipment for the township's sewer utility in and for the township appropriating $370,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $351,500 in sewer utility bonds or notes of the township to finance the same. Can I have a motion to open for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anybody like to make a comment? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close public comment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance
Just
2025?
wanted a general comment on this one and the next one. I just feel the need, I'm going to vote for both of them. I think it's important, but I just want to make a note that it is not by any means an easy vote to support so much bonding for the township. And I and the whole committee, I think, has spent a lot of time really evaluating all of our options and trying to find out the one that was most beneficial for the township. And unfortunately, I think this is our only option.
Thank you.
Rebecca,
Yep,
it was
I
a
agree with
difficult
you.
decision. Thank you.
Even though we are bonding for this, in the long run, it does pay off. And we are trying to use as much funding from the sewer as possible that has been set aside for this. So it's a good thing. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-08?
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do a roll call on that one.
Okay.
Ms. Batra? Yes. Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Lit?
Yes.
Ms. Godesdale?
Yes.
Mr. Dopty?
Yes. Moving on, the second ordinance is ordinance 2025-09, an ordinance of the Township of Chesterfield in the County of Burlington, New Jersey, providing for various capital improvements and related expenses in and for the township, appropriating $835,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $793,250 in general improvement bonds or notes of the township to finance the same. Can I have a motion to open 2025-09 for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody like to comment? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-09?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call again.
Roll call.
Ms. Batra? Yes. Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Lit?
Yes.
Ms. Godesdale? Mr. Dopty?
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to resolutions. The The first resolution that we have is Resolution 2025-6, that's 16, a resolution endorsing the fourth round housing elements and fair share plan. I believe today all we are doing is taking the plan that has been approved by the planning board and endorsing that to be now submitted to the, I believe, fair share housing as our commitment before June 30th.
Just a minor correction on that, Mayor. We've already submitted it. The amended law that we're all subject to requires that the adopted housing element fair share plan be filed with that Superior Court / Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program within 48 hours of its adoption. Technically, the planning board's the entity who adopts the housing element and fair share plan, and they adopted that on Tuesday afternoon. So I was under the law, in my opinion, we were required to file that at least with the Superior Court and the housing dispute resolution program by this afternoon, which we did. That's been done. Just wanted you to be aware of that.
And then what is a township committee doing?
It's an endorsement. So it's just a resolution endorsing the plan. It's already been adopted, as I noted. It's an endorsement of the plan.
And it's a plan, so we are going to review the details of that, and we can make changes that will be, whatever is feasible. Basically, we can make certain alterations that are feasible while implementing.
Absolutely. There's a mechanism to amend the plan further. And I think a lot of municipalities are going to be in that same position. Again, based upon what we've been talking about over these past months, the difficult time constraints it's caused to get these things done by the required deadlines.
And what's the effect of a no vote tonight on this?
I don't think it has much of an effect because it's been adopted. The municipal land use law just requires adoption by the planning board. This new law wants governing bodies to endorse it, but we'd be in new waters, so to speak, if I don't know. I don't know what would actually happen, but it's already been, like I said, it's been adopted and submitted in accordance with the law.
Got it. Can I have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-6-16?
Could we actually, before we get there, I think it merits at least a little bit of discussion. I just want to kind of say my piece on it. I'm not going to vote to endorse it, and I'm not going to kind of beat a dead horse. I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago or a month ago at a few meetings back. My no vote is not necessarily a statement on this plan. I think our township planner has done a good job with what she was given. But as I said, when we first addressed this in public session, I think what the state did with the fourth round was a disaster. And I don't agree with the way we handled it as a municipality either. For those reasons, I just don't want my name on it. I can't endorse it for those reasons. But I do want to be clear that I felt like the planner did with what she had, what I thought was mostly a good job.
What do you think we could have done differently?
We could have fought the number. I didn't want to agree to the negotiated number of 45. That's what I would have done differently.
Yeah, so you thought we should have gone to court for it.
Yeah, I did. And we didn't. And and I understand that reliving that now doesn't do any good. I understand that. I understand that we are where we are, but I just, because of how we got here, I'm just not comfortable with an endorsement.
I was going to save my comments when I voted, but I'll follow Matt because ditto a lot of what he said. And I want to preface my comments just by saying that I was very involved in this process. I followed the legislation as it was moving through the legislature. I sat on the Affordable Housing Subcommittee with Denise for several different meetings where we talked about the plan and we talked about what we could do. I was on the phone with Leah, our planner, Sunday morning, talking through the changes to the plan after it didn't pass out of the planning board last week. So I say all of that just to say that my no vote is not something that I'm taking lightly. I ditto what Matt said. I think that the difficulty in passing this plan really emphasizes that the 45 units is really going to be very difficult in Chesterfield. And it's something that I do wish that we had fought harder against when we had the opportunity. All that to say, I know that we are here where we are now. There's nothing we can do about that. So the second reason that I just can't support it at this point, I like to think that I'm a proponent of good, thoughtful policy. And I just think that the process that the state laid out in this enabling legislation made that near impossible to be able to come to an agreed number, to go through that whole mediation process, to have this extremely detailed plan that is based on so many different factors and the realities of our economic situation. To be able to do that in 60, 90 days is just insane. And so for that reason, I can't endorse this plan.
Well, I will say that when we voted to agree to the 45, given that we were told by our attorney, and I think he was right, that we would probably lose in court, I didn't see the point of spending money on litigation. I think that this plan, it was hard with the planning board. It was changed between one meeting and the next. And I think Leah did a good job. And I think the changes that were made were good ones. Absolutely. I think you speak to anybody in any governing body in the state of New Jersey, and they would tell you that it's unfair to do a 10-year plan in just a couple of months' time. Unfortunately, that's where we are. And if we don't, if this plan had not been adopted, or a plan had not been adopted by the planning board, we would be open to a builder's remedy lawsuit, which means that if we had to go to court with that, we could be told, all right, a judge could say, well, this is the plan you have to do, and that's it. You have no choice. So, I think we had no choice in a big way as to not get this and by June 30th, which is the state deadline. But absolutely, I think what the state had done, and I think every municipality, if you read in the paper, you see on Nextdoor or any type of social media, that governing bodies all across the state are unhappy with the tightness of what was given to them. But we have to work within the guidelines of what's told to us by the state of New Jersey. And so I think we've given the ramifications or the limitations put on us by the state. I think we did Leah did an excellent job within those ramifications. We have a lot to do, as Mr. Gillespie's comments. We have a lot of work now to do as a governing body to go forward with this plan. But I'm endorsing it, and I did vote for the 45 because I felt like spending money on litigation that we probably would lose, to me, was kind of not worth our money, and our money is better spent looking towards the future and trying to do this. And I think the plan that Leah came up with, I think it is doable. I believe within, there's a lot of work to be done. Absolutely, a lot of work to be done. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Denise, I just wanted to say real quick, you and I see this differently, and that's fine. But I just wanted to say how appreciative I am for how deeply you and Rebecca have both dug into this. I think you both have committed time and energy to this to allow this entire board to move forward more intelligently. And I think you're both going to be invaluable as this moves forward to make sure that it's done as well as it can be. So thank you to you, and thank you to Rebecca for putting in that time and work.
I appreciate that, Matt. But I think everybody on this board, has the capability to make this a workable plan, and it's just going to be work for all of us. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and by endorsing this plan and putting a plan that has been approved by the planning board, the township does retain some control. In the absence of this plan, and if we were to go to litigation, we would have even lost control, and we would be forced then to do what the state would want us to do. So I think it's a good thing. And of whatever I've read so far, other than the exception of MAVA, nobody has gotten a reduction of less, or average reduction is 5%. So we have managed to come from 65 to 45, which I think is doable for our town, which is greater than 5%. And even what MAVA has achieved so far seems like it's going to be challenged in court. So given that, where we stand today, I do feel that endorsing this would be the right thing to do. And I do feel that to implement this, we are going to have a broader discussion, and I'm feeling that it should almost be done as, with the township committee involved. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, I think, the township committee absolutely 100% has to be involved in going forward, making decisions. I mean, I think that is a given.
And we want to retain control, so passing this is a requirement for that.
I also want to just quickly add that I agree with your points. I mean, I agree with all the comments, but I know it's not a happy compromise to make, but we had to make a decision, and due to the time crunch, and also rejecting the plan would have put us at risk, financially and legally. So I didn't want to waste taxpayers' money on litigation, or opening the door to builders' remedy lawsuits and all that stuff. So I think again, thanks to Rebecca and Denise for looking into it more deeply, and Leah and Dominic, Leah came up with a really nice workable plan. So I'm hopeful that we can make it work. It was again, not an easy decision to make, but as Shrikant also said, that the control would be in our hands if we decide how to go about doing it.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-6-16?
So moved.
Second.
Can we take a roll call for this, please?
Sure. Ms. Batra?
Yes.
Ms. Hughes?
No.
Mr. Lit?
No.
Ms. Codestale?
Yes.
Mr. Dopty?
Yes. Thank you. The next three resolutions, I'm going to do it together, and I can't tell you how happy I am to see that we have three officers who have been long time in Chesterfield, who have done an amazing job, who applied for promotion and went through the entire process. And I was invited to that interview process as well. And I feel that they have done a great job in Chesterfield, as well as they continue to engage with the community. And I do feel that they are very deserving of this promotion. The chief can speak more to it, but there are three promotions that we are going to do in the next resolution 2025-6-17, 2025-6-18, and 2025-6-19 for Patrolman Kevin Pebzinski, Patrolman Jeff Joy, and Patrolman Anthony Seamus. And the three of them are going to be promoted to the position of sergeant. So I'm very happy with this, and I would like to have a motion to approve all the three in one swoop. So three resolutions here. 2025, can I have a motion to approve 2025-6-17, 2025-6-18, and 2025-6-19?
So moved. You can pick out of that, Karen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just want to say, as hard as the prior resolution was, these three are easy. They are
Yes.
so deserving. We are so excited. Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well said.
Next is 2025-6-20, requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation under NJSA 40A:4-98 for Sustainable Jersey grant funded by the PSE&G Foundation, the amount of $2,000 in 2025 municipal budget. I know both Suruchi and Roseanne did attend the felicitation ceremony there, and I'm very happy to approve this as well. So can I have a motion to approve 2025-6-20?
So
Motion.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-6-21, resolution amending and adopting the personnel policies and procedure manuals. I would like to have the administrator explain to us what we are changing here.
Sure, Mayor. As you know, we're members of the Burlington County Joint Insurance Fund, and on a regular basis, the legal advisors for the fund will make changes to different model personnel policies and procedures. So the primary reason is to ensure compliance with state and federal law as it relates to employment. So tonight, we're making several changes. One has to do with the Americans with Disabilities Act. They've also joined the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act with that policy. So changes have been made to our policy to reflect that. And these are in alignment with the recommendations of the GIF. They write the model policy, we adapt it, and then adopt it for insertion in our book. We also have our harassment policy, and the element of change there is that harassment in the workplace can also involve conduct outside the workplace if it occurs under certain circumstances. So that language has been added by the GIF. We're going to modify our policy to comply. A third has to do with vacation leave, and we already have a limitation on accumulated vacation that can be carried from 1 year to another. There's also a state statute that governs this issue. We have it capped at 6 days, so it's not even most employees' full allotment of vacation time, but it has to be, that carryover has to be because of business reasons. So that language has been added to our policy. Also, there's a provision that's been added, and I think this is COVID related, that if there's an emergency, the municipality can come up with a policy by which they'll carry bigger amounts of vacation because of the inability to use it. And obviously that COVID brought that necessity to us. One last is just a simple addition of an acknowledgement receipt when an employee receives the manual. That receipt will now be part of the manual, so we have a certified copy. And the last is our own creation. The committee back, I believe in April, expressed to myself and the rest of the employees that you wanted to end the medical insurance opt-out provision for future employees. I've written that. It's a one-line addition to our medical insurance policy, and that will now reflect that anyone hired after May 1st is not eligible. And to that end, any of our new employees, with the exception of police, because they have their own contract, this will have to wait until the contract expires and it would be negotiated. Any new employees, for example, Troy in Public Works, those new employees have been made aware that this provision is going in so that they're forewarned they can't use the opt-out provision.
All right. And from your perspective, Dominic, all the GIF recommendations are good and they've been adopted by various townships, and we are one more.
Absolutely. I did review them, but yes, they're totally fine. There's not much they're really adding to each policy, but it's just, noting these new laws, just as George outlined, but it's they're not substantial changes from my review as well. They're fine.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-6-21?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Now, resolution 2025-6-22. This is resolution authorizing the rejection of the bids received for Marjoram Road Improvement Project. And I believe this is because we are going to change the width of that road, and now that is a substantial change in design compared to what was originally bid, and does require us to rebid this process, right?
Yes. Maybe we could read the resolution, at least portions of it, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions, and it does lay out in the resolution what our determination is.
That's a good idea. Let's make sure
Yeah,
everyone
rather than
is on the
people
same
sitting
page.
there wondering
Yep.
what we're doing.
I'll read that resolution. Okay, give me 1 second. It's coming up. Oh, wow. This is a long resolution to read.
Well, maybe just read the
You could
part
probably
that's,
just pull out a couple of the
yeah,
things that are,
would be a,
exact. I think you can just mention a few things that
So the important thing that I would like to mention is that the Township Committee hereby directs the Township Engineer to revise the construction documents to reflect an overall width of 24 feet. So what we are requesting the Township Engineer to do is resubmit a bid of 22 feet of the road plus 1 feet on each side. So the total width will now be reduced to 24 feet. So that's the significant change that we are making, and we hope that as a result of this change, the bids that will come in again would be a little more favorable, as there's little, I would say, the work required to be done would be, the scope of work has been reduced. Is there anything else in this that we
I think
should?
that's the important part.
That's the
that I
important
think
one.
people would be of interest to the people who are here today.
Mayor, if I can just throw in.
Yep, sure.
The low bid was Paving Plus LLC for $599,338.75. And the other bidders are listed in the resolution. And the three elements are that we're going to authorize are the rejection of the bid proposal submission, authorize the township engineer to revise the construction documents, obtain NJDOT approval, and then to rebid the project with a revised scope. Those are the key elements. So we have three actions in one here.
And our expectation is that the bids will come in significantly lower with the reduced width.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the impact of we're taking 4 feet off of it, right?
Well, Joe seemed to think it would be about $100,000 difference. That's what he said in the meeting.
Be off his estimate.
What's that?
Well,
Maybe off of his original
mean,
estimate.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what he said.
This
He
came in
gave
at a
me-
good bid.
Huh?
I said it came in at a good bid.
Yeah.
What we
Well,
got.
that's true. I guess
So,
we're off the, we're at
I
the
don't think-
mercy of.
Don't think it's going to come in less than that.
And on Joe's behalf, I'd like to just bring to your attention that he does not anticipate any increased fees for engineering as a result of this change. The modification of the existing plans and the modification of the submission documents, he felt will still be under the authorized engineering fees that he originally put before you.
No.
There won't be any
he is
increase.
dialed in. So if there are any questions for Joe, he has dialed in, and we can have him address that either before we vote on this ordinance. So does the township committee have any questions for Joe?
Well, Joe, that I have that question because I thought when we had this meeting with you and Joe, that, I mean, with you and George, that you did kind of indicate that making it smaller would make it somewhat cheaper. So is that the case?
Yeah. You hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a little broken up, but we can understand you, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of based on a 20% reduction in the bid, but as Karen pointed out, our bids did come in significantly under the original estimate. So there's no guarantee that they'll come in lower, but with a reduced scope, I would anticipate it would come in somewhat lower.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a question for Joe, but I did want to just say that I appreciate him kind of hanging in there with us as we, thought about this and thought about it again and then thought about it some more. I felt like ultimately the 24 inches was the right compromise. I think it kind of reconciles the safety issues with the issues that have been raised by the residents of Marjoram Road. So I appreciated him working to figure this out.
And meeting with the people on Marjoram Road, and
Yep.
there was a lot that went into this decision.
Yeah, and I just want to thank all of the residents of Marjoram Road who wrote to us tirelessly, who came to the last, I think, 5 or 6
Yes.
meetings, who signed petitions. Thank you guys for coming out and for expressing your opinions.
It did help. It did definitely influence us. So yes.
It's pretty much mentioned in the resolution too, whereas the township committee received resident opposition to the proposed 28 feet overall width. So thank you for bringing it to our attention. And I think this is the best we can do. We do want to keep some shoulder. And I think at the same time, we heard what your, I would say, concerns as well. So we think this is a fair compromise. And let's just hope the DOT now approves this and we get a favorable bid as well. Thank you, Joe. So can I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-6-22?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2025-6-23, resolution authorizing change order number 1, final to R&M Construction LLC related to the replacement of wastewater pump station emergency generators project. Now, I believe this is generator project
I
that's
can speak to it.
This was to put,
Yeah, give us a little.
I think it was to put bollards up. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're
But-
correct. Yeah, the PSC&G required bollards to be added around where the new gas meters were installed. So we had to add those as a change order. But the
That's it.
project,
You-
I was going to say, the project is complete at this point. So overall, I think it was about a 1% increase over the original contract amount. And there's no other cost that'll be added to this project. The final payment will be made and the contract is complete.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank
Yep.
you. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-6-23?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'm going to do three resolutions together. We are appointing 3 full-time police officers. So we now reduce our vacancy by 3 more, and I believe that will bring us very close to our allotted 13. Am I right there, or we still have more vacancies?
These three, if everything goes well through the academy, that will bring us to 13.
13.
Oh, wonderful.
Perfect. That's
That's
wonderful news.
wonderful.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 2025-6-24, 2025-6-25, 2025-6-26, resolution appointing Brendan Russo, William Lovenberg, and Jacob Doolittle as full-time police officer recruit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution 2025-6-27, resolution awarding and confirming emergency contract under New Jersey Local Public Contracts Law, NJSA 40A:11-6, resulting from an emergent condition and awarded to Vulcan Construction. This is for the emergency road repair that we had to do on Georgetown Road.
Is that started, Troy? I believe you said.
Preliminary. They're still doing the design, I believe, and getting everything done through their engineer. They do something with soil, possibly soil sample.
And when do you anticipate that have they given you any?
Joe, are you still on, Joe? Because I believe Joe was in contact with them last week or early this week. I'm not sure if we have a start date, a definitive start date or not.
No, we don't have a definitive start date yet. So the contractor's engineer is designing the head walls. Since they just recently did pretty much the same project in another town, so they have the ability to do it quicker and include it in their cost of the construction to expedite everything. So I'm waiting on their schedule, but hopefully within the next week or so, they should get started.
Okay, thanks.
Can I have a motion to approve 2025-6-27?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then resolution 2025-6-28, resolution approving proposal from ERI for Chesterfield Georgetown Road emergency work and associated permits. So this authorizes ERI, and that's Joe, to do the work. Can I have a motion to approve 2025-6-28?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The last resolution for the day is resolution 2025-6-29, resolution authorizing the renewal of plenary retail consumption license number 0307-33-006-001 to Osteria Crosswicks LLC. I think this is just a renewal,
Yes.
annual renewal. So can I have a motion to approve 2025-6-29?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Moving on to section 9, the bills list. I hope you got a chance to see the bill list. Can I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Reports and discussions.
Ignore engineer's report. We
Yeah,
don't have
because
one.
we already have.
Unless he has something to report tonight.
No, everything was the subject of a resolution tonight.
Thanks, Joe, for
Thank
coming
you.
on though on your vacation.
It's cool. No worries at all.
Thank you. Uh, The next one is memorializing Sprague Street road closure. So this, I think, is after the fact, but
Mhm.
And I should have recused myself from this. I forgot to say at the beginning of the meeting, so
Gotcha.
I'm recused.
so this is just because we had closed down a Sprague Street during the music festival. Uh,
No,
No.
No,
No?
this was
I
for a
think it
block
was
party.
on
this was, oh,
Saturday.
this was on the block party that they had
Yes,
last
This
week. Yep,
past
and that's a public this thing. Yeah, that's great. I hope a lot of people attended that. So I'm good with this. Can I have a motion? Oh, do we need a motion?
We already.
Oh, yeah, we should.
You should.
I'll
Absolutely.
make a motion that we memorialize the Sprague Street Road closure.
Second.
Is there a
All
second?
in favor?
I can.
Thanks.
Only laughing because what if we vote no? I think
It's too
Here's my
it's-
invite.
It's just done.
Well,
All in
yes,
favor?
but
It's-
yes.
How did that go? It was a good
Yep.
event.
Thank
It was awesome. It was awesome. Is the vote done?
It's done.
Yes.
Okay, so my next door neighbor of 17 years was moving to Virginia, and so we wanted to have a block party to kind of celebrate them, and it was awesome. It went really well, and
Yeah.
I appreciate the police closing the street, and we just closed down like a small part of it in between. There's like
Sprague and
was
it was on Sprague. It was like like the two
like 2 blocks.
yeah so it was very small, but it let us put up like tents, and it let the kids run around. It was good. So thank you for
Nice.
And I hope it was not too hot.
It wasn't bad. No, it was not terrible. The tents helped.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Okay. Next item is pole barn on farmland preserved property, Creekview Farm LLC. I believe Glenn did send a note to this
He
effect.
sent us a report, yeah.
Yep.
Had drawings and
And this is something that I think I brought up before, and I'd like the committee to consider changing this requirement
So we don't have to
because
vote on it.
it's just crazy. It doesn't come here unless it's approved by the ordinance.
yeah.
Because it's already gone through zoning. It's good with zoning, but they're held up because the ordinance says, I don't see, and I've looked at the ordinance, and for permitted principal or accessory uses, that's what this falls under. They're just standard things. If it goes into a conditional use, then I can see where, that has to wait for governing body approval because that's a little outside the norm. You have to meet a lot more things.
Let's change that for sure.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
should too.
But in the
So basically,
meantime,
the change that we do is we don't need to. It doesn't need to come to the township.
Correct,
property to-
correct. Because it's really just a double approval. It doesn't, it meets everything, and you're not going to approve it if it doesn't meet everything to begin with. It
Just be
just,
approved then by Glenn.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
I
think
agree.
that would make a lot
It
of sense.
happened because of one issue, and it wasn't zoning issue. So,
well, in the meantime, motion.
thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tree tenders. Suruchi, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to propose that we formally adopt a resolution to recognize the tree tenders program. As we all know, we received a sustainable NJ grant, for the program, and the tree tenders team is about to launch the program. There's going to be a pruning class on July 12th, where there'll be, it's like a workshop on how to take care of trees and maintaining and pruning trees. So the resolution will also, I believe, encourage volunteers who are stepping up to take care of the trees, and they're, trying to preserve our tree canopy in Chesterfield. They're putting in their time and their effort. So I would, love for their work to be appreciated. So I wanted to propose that. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up again is about rewording the ordinance, which has to do with the Shade Tree Advisory Board. They really want, to be a part of, they want to give their expertise and their feedback, and they want to receive, the plans ahead of time in a timely manner. So their input is taken into consideration. So I was discussing that with Karen, and I wanted to bring it up to the, to discuss with the committee to see how that can be done. And I did bring it up last time also. So would appreciate some decision on this.
Maybe if they gave us in writing exactly what they're hoping to get
Toward
from that.
the,
I did mention it at a planning board meeting. And I mean, it's a decision that we as a committee have to make, but obviously it would affect the planning board, but I don't think that they thought that would be too difficult. But it also needs to be limited so that it's only issues involving trees. So I think we will need to make sure we don't lose sight of that, because the Environmental Commission also, by long-term ordinance, reviews site plans and that kind of thing to ensure that they fall into. And we don't, I think, want to do a lot of overlap or a lot of, so I think if we get something in writing from the shade tree, then we can look at it in a way that we're then consistent with, and not having overlap, not having, you know, so, and work through this. And I don't think it's a big lift. I'm not saying this as work through as if it's going to be a big lift, so that we're not overlapping, not making duplicative effort. But to your point, Sarucci, I think it would be a great thing, because the Shade Tree Advisory Board, their knowledge of trees is deep and wide, and I think would add a lot to the planning board's review of site plans. So if we could get something in writing from them, I think it'd be really helpful.
Yeah, and my only concern is not to add to any logistical delays, right? So some of these things are time sensitive. So we need to make sure that we are wisely sending things and giving the heads up notice to Shade Tree Advisory, so their actions, their review does not add to any delays. So let's make sure that they are also aware that
I don't
we have
think
to
that
work
would be
around
the
those.
case. It's just that they're not getting to review the plans. They don't have enough time on hand to even look at the plan, so they're getting it last minute when it's too late
Well, they
for them
don't
to even
always
make
get
any
them, because when
recommendations.
I brought it up to the planning board, she said, well, because there's no ordinance or nothing that instructs me to submit things to Shade Tree, I don't usually do it. And she's right, like we've never given her any, as the planning board secretary, we've never given her any um
Because the whole point of having a
yes.
shade tree advisory board is
Well,
for
no,
us
no,
to,
I mean, I'm totally in favor of doing this. I mean, and I think to your point, Sri, we could put that in the ordinance, certain, um,
Timelines,
deadlines
yeah.
or timelines. Yes. So I don't think that would be difficult. I just think if we had something from Shade Tree that gave us a framework, and then, Dominic and George could look at it and kind of make it work.
The timelines aren't a problem because an application doesn't come in and go right before the planning board. So
Right.
there's a month at least in between of when we get them.
Yep.
But the fact is that they're not advisory to the planning board, they're advisory to the township committee. So that's where it is. So it's not that they're not given enough time for the plans, it's that there's no mechanism for them to comment on planning board plans because they are advisory to the township committee and take
that's
direction from the township
Exactly
committee.
what Aggie said
That's
when
the
I
change
brought
that
it up
we
at the
need.
planning board meeting.
So that's what it is. It's not that they're not getting them in enough time, it's that there's no mechanism for that.
Yeah, so we have to create that mechanism.
Understood. And once we have that, we'll consider it, and we'll certainly, once Dominic looks at it, we can
so you would like
change
them
the
to
order.
draft something and then
Yeah, I think just an outline of what they're looking for. I mean, I think you've given us a good idea, but I think just to have it in writing.
Okay, going on to next section, section 11, administration reports. So tomorrow, from my side, one of the things that I wanted to inform the public here and invite everybody as well. Tomorrow, the county is going to celebrate the farmland preservation. And the first farmland in our county was preserved here in Crosswicks, or actually in Chesterfield, on the grounds just opposite here, the fire station grounds, right? That's where it was.
That's where they had the
They
first
had the
ceremony.
first ceremony. And the county is looking to, after 40 years? This is
40 years. It's been
40 years
40
ago.
years.
So they're looking to celebrate the anniversary of that by holding a ceremony tomorrow at 9:30 on the
It'll
fire
be in the
station grounds.
firehouse. It'll be in the firehouse meeting room.
In the firehouse meeting room. So everybody's invited. We have informed the farmers. It's a very proud moment for us. Our program, TDR program, is being recognized by the county. So I do think it's a moment for us to be celebrating as well as feel proud for what we have done in Chesterfield.
I plan to go to that.
I will be there too.
I think I appreciate the fact that the county's recognizing our huge involvement in preservation. So I think I'm very appreciative of the county holding that ceremony here rather than at their own, somewhere on their own.
Say again, Tree, where it is and what time?
At the
This is the
firehouse.
firehouse
the
meeting
firehouse.
room tomorrow at 9:30. That's Friday.
Morning.
9:30 in the morning. That's June 27th. Tomorrow, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything from the township committee?
The only thing I just wanted to ask is with this getting together to discuss the next steps for the affordable housing plan, would that be then just the staff and the professionals involved, or the whole subcommittee to meet with to set up that meeting with the Likas, or how are we going to handle that?
No, I would be okay. I'd like the subcommittee,
Yeah,
as much as of us that we can get.
I think Rebecca and I
and then
should-
we can then apprise the rest of the committee, township committee, once we have a meeting.
And then I
further
guess
direction.
before we have that first meeting, you're going to, Leah and George or whoever's involved is going to start to get some initial figures and that we can start to look at to discuss with the Likas, or I guess
I would,
not sure how we're
yeah,
going
in terms of that, my recommendation would be to speak to Leah about that.
Okay.
And see what her intentions are for the initial meeting. She's aware of it, like I had mentioned earlier tonight. She does apologize for not being here, but as we all know, this has got to be the most busy week for any planner in the state of New Jersey. And she has another planning board. So those are the ones where they're adopting, the plan. So she's got one of those hearings tonight. But she did tell me, she called me on my drive here. She said to apologize. She's of course available. And she encouraged any members of the township committee that does have any questions to please give her a call. And she'd be happy to go over anything with you guys.
Okay. Thanks, Dominic.
Yeah.
So along those same lines, I did go to the DCA seminar this morning on affordable housing, Department of Community Affairs, and I definitely didn't come back with like a silver bullet, but I do feel like I came back with maybe a refreshed attitude toward it. I mean, I guess, I don't feel, I guess I feel a little bit better about our ability to do this without compromising, the look and feel of our township. For a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, I learned about quite a few resources available from the DCA, some financial, but some informational. And I don't know how much of that our planner needs, but they are there. They're definitely there to help. I also learned about the NJ Homes Choice tool, which I thought would be interesting, which is basically a website that shows your obligation and shows how far you are toward that obligation, which, I mean, we don't need that. But I thought that could be helpful for the public who just wants to kind of understand. And it's premature for that, but as the years go on, who want to understand what's going on, why what's being done is being done. And I guess what made me feel best about it was learning that, and this was primarily from the vendors who were there, that there are smart people and innovative contractors who are coming up with ways to get these obligations done other than kind of the worst case scenario. They're coming up with creative ways to help New Jersey towns get things done that don't look like what some of us imagine when we close our eyes. So I thought that was really good. So again, no magic bullet, but I definitely felt like it helped make me feel a little bit better about what we're coming up against in the years to come on this.
No, just to give you the planning board's perspective, I think it's important to the planning board, and they reiterated at the meetings. I mean, this was a difficult decision. As Mr. Gillespie indicated, there were 2 meetings held. The first one was a tie, and the second one, it passed. But, I think that that as the planning board, as well as this body, I think all of us are in agreement that we are not going to walk away from our design standards. We're not going to walk away from our commitment to having a community that um, that continues to meet the plans that we've wanted to do in terms of, it's worked. This community has worked very, very hard to have a certain a certain community that has a certain appeal to people, and I don't think we want to walk away from that. And I don't think we have to do it. I think we can continue to do it, even to do one building, because it wouldn't be a huge building, right? Especially if we continue to do I can't remember the word that Leah keeps using, but the little pieces here and there that we require every developer to do their own 10%. We're not doing all 45 in one building. We're going to be breaking that down. So, inclusionary. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word. So if we continue to do the inclusionary throughout, as we have always done for the prior rounds, I think that we can do one building that's going to, I think, fit into Chesterfield very well.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be challenging to do it well, but I'm coming around to the idea that it is possible.
Yes. I mean, it took me a while to get to that point too, Matt, to be honest with you, but looking at what the options were, and the initial one to extend the receiving area, and at first I thought that was a good idea, and then I really did, but listening to our attorney and our planner and some other folks in terms of what the concerns were about that, I also came around to that one building, and I was not in favor of it at all for a long time.
I know,
but at this point in time, I think it is our most our best bet.
And I will circulate. There was a good PowerPoint. Well, I won't circulate it. I'll send it to you, Karen. You could circulate it to everyone on the dais. I think, again, it lists the resources and some of the ideas, and I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to go to that, because I think the more ideas we have and the more resources we look at, the better a plan we'll come up with.
Yeah, and that's the only way it's going to get done. I think is that a continued commitment to doing it in a way that's consistent with our township. But I'm becoming more optimistic that it can be done.
I wanted to make a suggestion to the committee and the administration regarding a different topic. I mean, regarding the Marjoram Road topic, actually. In future, when we have any major, projects or road improvements coming up, is there a way to do a better outreach event to the residents so they know ahead of time what's coming up? I believe this project was approved 2 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but it was only when it came to the last stages that the residents got to know about it, so they were kind of caught unawares, and of course, they wanted to voice their concern, and rightly so. So in future, when we have any major event like projects coming up which may affect the residents, if we could, I guess, deal with it in a better way, just to let them know, maybe do an open house or on how they would be affected by it, so they have full knowledge and they know what's going on. So I just wanted to make that suggestion.
A fair ask. I don't know the details, but my understanding is we got the designs and the designs were submitted to the township committee, after which it was made a public document. So the design that was submitted to the DOT, as soon as we got that, I believe, and we approved it in the township meeting, then we made it public. So when was that? Or do you have a sense of that?
That was submitted to DOT probably in 2023.
And we didn't make the document public?
No,
yet? Or
I understand where you're coming from, because your residents aren't going to see anything like they did in this one until utilities go out there and start marking things out. Outside of that, they really don't see anything, and it never has been.
I think what Saruchi's getting at, if I understand you correctly, is if we do a project like that, sending notices out to the residents, we are planning to do X,
And
Y, and
invite
Z.
them maybe to come and talk to the township engineer or other professionals just to understand the scope of the project better, so they have all the information that they need at hand. That's what I was coming at.
I think this body's communication with the public is and should always be constantly evolving. And I
Yeah.
definitely
Yes.
think there are important lessons to take from this
Absolutely.
project that we should certainly use on future projects.
I agree.
I
And I
think
think we could, I guess maybe see how this is done. I guess project by project, we have to look at it, like how widespread is it? You know, like how many people does it involve? How do we send those notices out? So, but I think it's definitely something to have.
We should
I
constantly be
think
looking
the
at
point
Yes.
is
how to
that
improve our
Karen is
Agree.
making also, and I think what we should avoid is when you go to somebody's property and mark out, the utilities mark out something, even though it's in the right of way, it does impact the residents there, right? So
Yeah.
that kind of scares or jars the resistance of what the hell is happening. And we want to avoid that. We want to give them as much
Heads up,
notice,
so there
a
will
heads
be
up saying that yes,
enough
the utility
time
will
for
be
them to-
coming. They are working in the right of way, and this is the reason why they are doing what they are doing. So any heads up, any notice of that as soon as we can or we are able, we should inform them.
And the committee needs to make a decision sooner as to what plans are going to be done, because that's now included a good month or so lead time. And a lot of times we don't have that lead time to get those plans into DOT.
I'm not following what you're saying.
So, and I don't know, maybe Joe can speak on that. I don't know if we have to have plans when we go into DOT as to when we make the application to DOT, or know what the full project is.
I can speak to it to a point. So when we submit the grant application, it's usually about a year before we actually do any kind of design. But the grant application lays out what the foundation of the design is going to be. There's no concept plan submitted, short of a location plan that basically just shows the extents of where the improvements are proposed. Once the grant application is approved, generally speaking, it's based upon what we said we were going to do. So, we did include, we're going to do pedestrian safety improvements, and we're going to resurface the road and things like that for Marjoram Road. So we ultimately came to a design that was submitted to DOT, and DOT approved that, right? I definitely think there is opportunity uh, somewhere in that time frame, maybe once the design is finished before it goes to NJDOT, where we could either have an open house, or I could at least update committee on what the general design parameters are, for example, road widths and things like that, so that everybody's aware of what's going to be submitted. And I think that would probably be helpful. We also try to, in our engineers reports every meeting, let you know what's up and coming, right? So you know that Hogback Road Phase 1 is in design, and we just applied we'll apply before July 1st for Phase 2 of Hogback. So that's kind of the pipeline of at least the road improvement projects that we have and that'll be upcoming. And those, at any time, we can provide the extent of those road improvements, so everybody knows where on each of those roads we're intending to do work. And then obviously we're always open to meet with the residents and do the open houses and take comments and criticisms and the public's opinion on, and committee's opinion, obviously, on, what we're intending to propose, or what our proposal will be ultimately when we do the design.
I guess the problem as I see it is very few people, and I mean, I'm not saying this is a criticism because I think it's just totally, completely 100% understandable, don't really pay attention to what goes on at township committee meetings. So they don't really find out. I'll use Marjoram's Road as an example. Our road is being significantly widened until the improvements start, right? So I think maybe we should start to consider what projects, when, and what point in the project to then just send out letters to those homeowners and say, this is what's being considered. In this case, we're considering widening the road from its current state too. But it sounds easy, but I think it's complicated in a lot of ways when you look down deep as to when those go, what projects we do that with, and when those type of letters would go out.
This project, I've been involved in hundreds of road do-overs. The vast majority, the width of the road stays the same.
Right. So we
Often
wouldn't,
they're in developments where there's curb to curb. No one sweats it. There's very
Yeah,
little
we would-
feedback from the residents. I've been involved in some where there was taking of frontage of businesses to widen the road. Obviously, every property owner is aware because they're involved in negotiation of the county or the township taking that land. In this instance, you had a narrow municipal roadway. There were no physical boundaries. And you're absolutely right. When folks saw those poles moving and saw, the likelihood of shrubs and other types of items being removed, it woke everybody up.
Mhm.
And it wasn't the residents' fault, and it certainly wasn't the township's fault. I think when we have a widening or an alteration to the dimensions of the road, and again, if the county comes through, if there's a taking, they're going to process that. If we're not going to be doing a formal taking, because in this case, you had the ability to widen it, actually much more than we were widening it, then we have to be aware of that. And, Joe can tip us off, and then we can make those notifications to the property owners. I think there are going to be far fewer than more.
Oh, I don't
that
think
are,
that,
are
yeah.
going to come into this type of situation.
No, because I think if we're just re-asphalting a road, we've never had anybody had any concerns about that. So, no, I don't think it's something that's going to happen very often, but I just think it's something we need to be more cognizant and more aware of reaching out.
Lesson learned.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just very quickly, I had taken it upon myself to oversee the Fenton Lane Path paving project that has been going on over the last few weeks. I have been walking with my daughter, pushing her in the stroller there regularly over the last few weeks, and it looks great. I saw our DPW folks out there a bunch of times. They did an awesome job. The path is great. It's really nice, like you walk past somebody walking their dog, or there was a family who was out there with their little kids and tricycles, and everybody's just excited. It's made everybody's lives a little bit easier. So it's nice to see that project come to fruition.
Yeah, it's nice not to get that gravel in your socks when you walk.
Okay, anything from the administration?
Just one item, Mayor. At our last meeting, you talked about our public works facility and a future location for it. I did talk to Joe. He's going to be issuing a notice to have a meeting to get the discussion started. He's got some preliminary background on the current property that we occupy and own. I know one of the issues that you want to explore are the development potentials for that property if we bring the facility over here. So we need to do kind of a weighted checklist of the different benefits and the negatives that would go with each situation.
I understood though, even if we kept it there, we could still do some. It would just be much more reduced.
Yeah, so just understand there are multiple angles to it, and to the best possible extent, if you can weigh the pros and cons for us,
Yes.
that will be awesome. So this township committee can then look at it. And I know even the economic advisory committee is very keen to understand that.
Yes.
So that would be good to have a report that
Can we have a joint meeting with the economic advisory? Just
absolutely we can.
public meeting?
We will invite them. Once I think Joe has something that he's willing to share, we can have a special meeting and we can invite them as well.
I think we definitely need to be moving forward with that, especially given, like, in conjunction with all these other decisions we have to make, in terms of bonding and stuff.
Good. Okay.
That was all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then again, I'm moving on to section 12, our second public comment section. Can I have a motion to open it for public comments?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roseanne Greenberg, 17 Iron Bridge Road, Shade Tree Advisory Board Chair. One of the comments tonight for changing our ordinance where we can give comment on site plans. You asked what we would be commenting on, and it would be the tree planting schedule. That would be the only thing in all the design work that we'd be commenting on. But that is also on the environmental commission's list of what they comment on. So we would overlap.
That's
on
why I
that.
said I want to look at it and see and make sure that there is some constancy. And I also think, wouldn't you also want to make comment on what types of trees are being put in terms of any type of?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so it is, right now, the Environmental Commission comments on everything to do with the project in terms of the environmental impacts and the site plans. They review them. So I think this would be on top of that. But yeah, I think we want to look at whether we want to just take out trees for the environmental cushion and put on shade tree, or have it be both. I mean, those are the details that I think that when I said that, we'd like a written report, or written, not a report, but a written list from the shade tree, so that we could look at that and decide what's the best way to do that, so that it's not a lot of duplication.
Okay, well, one of the things is Jane Ryan, who is on the Environmental Commission, is the one who normally does the comments on the trees.
Uh-huh.
And her suggestion was, because she's EC and we're STAB, she said, how about if we work together on those comments so there won't be anything conflicting and we would both agree on things.
I mean, I think those types of things they work together, I don't think would be something that this body would get involved with. I think our ordinance would just be to be assured that the shade tree did get site plans to be able to review them.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, I'm just thinking like you might want to just then maybe just amend the environmental commission's ordinance to just say work in conjunction with the shade tree advisory board to provide comments on tree plantings or tree
Yeah,
planting
but
schedules on
then
site plan.
that doesn't ensure that the shade tree advisory board gets the site plans. And that's, I think, what the concern is that they don't see the site plans.
I think you could just direct the
Mm-hmm.
planning board secretary to
another
transmit all site plan applications
Yeah, that's what
instead of like putting it in the ordinance that way. It's not my decision. It's just
no. I mean,
I'm
if
just
we
offering.
can just direct her without having to do an ordinance, I think that would be fine. I thought we had to do some kind of formal action to do that, but if we don't, maybe we
You
just
could
need
always
to
just try
do-
to direct at first and see if it becomes like a problem with the duplicate, if there's an issue with them communicating with each other. But yeah, but I
Yeah,
don't think
no.
Yeah, my suggestion is we just let Roseanne finish with her comments and then we can take this later. So go ahead.
Well, on a different note,
Yes.
for the farmland preservation, the event we're having for our 40th anniversary, the first preserve farm might have been signed here in Chesterfield, but also the first preserve farm in the state to go renewable energy is here in Chesterfield. And that's mine. And that's when my wind turbine went online. It was May 21st, 2003. I had to get permission through the county and through the state because they said, no, it's not agriculture. And nowadays they promote preserve farms to go renewable. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. So to get back to for her first point, can we just direct the planning board? But what is the mechanism that we do that by?
Just let Aggie know so she
have
can
administration
send the.
send a letter.
Okay. Okay. So we can send a letter stating that here on in, the planning board secretary is to send all site plans to the Shade Tree Advisory Board for review. Okay.
Good evening, Harold Dauncey, 59 Marjoram Road. I want to thank all of you for the process that you went through to come up with the decision that you came up with for our beloved road. Um, the the concerns that we had were heard. Um, our main concerns were safety, wildlife, the environment, our quality of life, and you heard us, and that means a tremendous amount to all of us. I think the 24-foot maximum road width is perfect. It maintains the character and the charm of our road the way it is. And I don't think we could ask for anything more. Just like to thank all of you for the effort that you put in, the time you put in. I know it probably isn't an easy decision to make. There's a lot of parts of this process to look at to come up to that decision. And I think from myself and the members of the road that are here tonight, I think we all owe you a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you all very much. One other thing before I leave the beloved podium. Ms. Batra made a comment about projects and enlightening the residents as to what's going on. I found out that Marjoram Road was going to be widened at the closing for my home. We got all done signing papers and the owner goes, "Oh yeah, by the way," that's how I found out. And I went to the town. I spoke to Karen. She was very gracious, broke out the documents, explained everything to me as to what was going on. So I knew, and I started speaking to some of my neighbors. Some knew, some were clueless. So I think maybe the process could be made a little sharper by slipping a note in people's tax bills when it pertains to a project to the residents in that specific area. Maybe that would make the process a little easier for everybody, and everybody would know what to expect.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and thank you again for the time, the effort, and your thoughts. Thank you. Oh, before I leave, Troy and Joe also. They deserve. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Evening, Brett Anderson, 62 Brookdale Way. Two things. One, a question I don't know if you can answer this evening. With regards to the fair share housing plan that was adopted, I think it would just be helpful for the public to know when you mentioned about it being, it's possible to have it amended. If you could clarify, for example, can the list of properties that are listed be amended? Could someone in the future go back and decide that they wanted to add an additional property or something like that if, say, the makeup of the committee changes. The second thing I just wanted to quickly comment on, so people were mentioning about notifications to residents, and I was thinking programs like Nixle had, and also the alerts I believe that we fill out for the website, but I could be mistaken about our website, often collect address information when you complete that. I don't know if it's possible, for example, if we have a project on a particular road, that we could at least send e-notifications to any subscribers who live on that road. Then you would have an electronic form of being able maybe to get in touch with residents, and that would encourage them to sign up more. And just quickly on that note, just a small suggestion for the website. So at least on mobile, you don't see the subscribe to e-alerts until you actually click on the menu. My suggestion is put that in the footer of the website so that it appears on every page that you look at. And that way it's hard for people to miss, whereas right now it's hidden in a menu. So it's not.
For what?
So when you look at the township website, like on mobile, you actually have to click on the menu on the top left to click on government, boards, etc. And then at the top it says subscribe to e-alerts. If you don't click on that menu and you're just reading through the website and you see the buttons for forms, etc., it's not listed there. So I think it might either in the footer or in that list of links that we have on the homepage, like forms, contact us, etc., might make it a little bit more prominent. Just a small suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
Is that a pretty easy lift?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll look into it.
Yeah, that should.
Okay,
that
that's
should-
fair.
And Dominic, my understanding is there is certain flexibility we have in the plans for all the plans that we have submitted, but I don't know what that flexibility entails in terms of, whether we can change certain properties, whether we can add certain properties in order to meet the number. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's, to me, that's, I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to deflect too much, but I think that is a Leah question.
Yeah, question. Okay. Fair enough. Anybody else? Is anybody online wishing?
Unmuting.
Okay, nobody online wants to make a comment. And can I have a motion to close public comments?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We do have executive session today. I do feel that it will be a short one, but we will not be taking any
No
action after that.
And that'll be resolution 6-30, FYI.
Okay, by resolution 2025-6-30.
6-30, correct.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for
Can
coming
we
in.
just
today.
make a motion? Thanks.
I'll make a motion to close public session and move to executive.
All in favor?
Aye.
This conference will now be recorded.
Live, this is still live. Do we make our motion to adjourn?
All in favor? Aye.